right, excitement.
Dana, thanks for coming in. Appreciate it. If you have questions, raise your hand. Edward,
We live? Yeah.
Garrett have their microphones. We'll start in the third row on your right. Right here.
How you doing? Yeah, so, Blanco, what he does for us is he gives us a little length and some flexibility in the pen. We thought we needed 13 pitchers because with the 7-game series, it's a little different than 5. And so we decided to go with 13 and 13. But, yeah, Blanco has history out of the pen, and, we thought we needed that length. And he can bounce back, which is good. He can pitch on a Monday 2 innings and come back and pitch 2 more innings on a Wednesday if we need him. And if we ever go into extra innings, he's been a starter, so we can get multiple innings out of him there. So we decided to go with Blanco.
Chandler in the fourth row on your right, Dana.
Hey, Dana. Dusty said yesterday that Graveman has not improved. What is his status right now, and is he even still throwing?
Yeah, so he's getting better. This would be like, if it was a regular season, it would be a 10-day IL stint, with maybe some extra time. I think from talking to Graveman, he feels a little bit better, just not good enough to go on this roster for this round. So I still think there's hope. If we, get beyond this, that he'll be fine. He'll be good to go.
Good. Matt on your left, Dana.
In no way does this disparage your pen, but my question is, we've seen it throughout baseball where a closer is called upon in the 8th inning because of the matchups. Is that something that's ever been talked about with Presley?
No, I think the beauty of having someone like an Abreu who can close, you have the flexibility to pitch him in the 7th if you got 2, 3, and 4 coming up, or 3, 4, and 5. I think it's always good to have that guy. When I was in Atlanta in 21, we had Matzik, and everyone wanted us to close him. We were like, no, he's way too valuable. I think it's so important that you have a guy who has closer stuff, but you can use him in the 7th or the 8th, depending on what part of the lineup's coming up. I like when we use Abreu in the 7th, when we got 2, 3, and 4 coming up, and then we know that someone else can get the guys out in the 8th. But if you have Seager coming up in the 7th, you want Abreu facing Seager.
Questions for Dana? Hazel up here.
Hi, Dana. What does having 2 managers with decades of experience say about what it takes to be successful in this game today?
Yeah, so with both of these managers, I think they're outstanding with their club. They handle ball players very well. They're ball player type managers. These guys love to play for both of these veterans, and they're both very good. And it's a real special matchup. I was talking earlier about my relationship with Chris Young, and then when you look at these 2 managers, they know each other very well. And so at the end of the day, I think it's going to be a dogfight. I think they're coming to play, but both managers have great leadership skills and qualities, and so I think it's good for the game.
Far back on your left, Dana. Jeff.
Dana, what was your impression of Jose Altuve before coming here, and what have you learned about him since arriving?
Yeah, I've said this a bunch. I think he's like the cup of coffee that you need in the morning. He's the Energizer Bunny. He's all that. You got a guy like Altuve. He's pretty special. At the top of the lineup, of course, when he was out, we missed him a bunch. But he can hit for power. He can hit the ball in the gap. He can take an extra base. He'll make some good defensive plays. I think he's a special human being and also a special player.
The last row on your right, Dana. Hannah.
Hey, Dana. You're coming from an organization that's obviously capable of winning a World Series, but this team has been so consistently successful in the postseason. What have you learned about the Astros that maybe helps you to understand why they've had so much success in October in recent years?
Yeah, I think it's a combination of really good pitching people here. We've suffered a lot of injuries, and we still have these guys that come in and do the job. And so to have that type of pitching depth it's pretty special. And so I think that's one. I think the defense here is really good, and I think they know how to get timely hits. And, the other thing is these guys have the heartbeat for this stuff because, at no time did I feel like these guys panicked, even when, things didn't look good and we lost, 7 of the 9 games to teams that had lost 100 games. These guys just hung in there and it's like, okay, let's go. We got the next series coming up. And I think that's pretty big for teams that have played in the postseason.
Other questions for Dana? Standing on your right, David.
Dana, this kind of goes to what you just said, but specifically I want to ask about the deep playoff runs that this team has had, 7 straight ALCSs, a bunch of World Series, or 3. The mental part of that, to stay sharp and to stay focused, really 8 months of the year as we get into November. What have you seen from the team since you've been here?
Yeah, I think it's a grind mentally and it's a grind physically. Those two things take a toll on you after a while. I think, we saw some of that with our pitchers that we lost. When you play that long every year into the season, at some point the guys are going to get tired, and some points the guys are going to start breaking down. And losing, like McCullers, we lost Urquidy for a long period of time during the season. We lost Garcia. But the beauty, like I said, is we have some pitching depth here. We have good pitching people here. And they do a good job of getting the guys prepared to step up.
Other questions? Anything else? Pete, we'll go to your left, Dana.
Dana, what did you, in getting to know Jeremy Pena, he had a lot, did a lot last year in his first year, and how do you think he kind of handled, having that attention after what happened last year and kind of adjusting through the course of the season to get to where he is now?
Yeah, the bat hasn't been as dynamic this postseason so far as it was last year. The defense is still pretty special, as you guys know, that you've seen the plays that he's making. These are game-saving plays that he's made in multiple games. So I think he's a special shortstop. I think the fact that he's a threat with the bat at times is really good. I like the fact that he can run and he can steal a base and he can score on hits. And so it's a 5-tool player that if he ever gets hot, he can carry a club.
Up front with Kim here.
Hey, Dana, I know you knew Dusty before, but what have you learned about him, working with him, and how much has his, experience helped navigate all the challenges from the season, especially on the pitching side?
Yeah, I've learned with Dusty that he's pretty special with the players. His relationships are really good. I think he knows how to pat him on the back. I think he knows how to give him a little bit of a push. And so I think his relationship with the players, it's pretty much unmatched. I mean, he's really good at it. And that takes him a long way. I think the players play hard for him. And I think that helps the players not to panic because they know they have a manager in Dusty Baker who's patient, and they know that Dusty understands the grind of a season and that you're going to have some games where you're really good and you're going to have some weeks where you're really good and you're going to have some games and some weeks where you're not so good. And so Dusty being understanding that has helped these guys to relax a little bit, and these guys really know how to turn it on when they have to.